Welcome to the WRC podcast. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and you're in the right place. Here at the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast, what you can expect is to learn, shift your thinking, and gain personal and professional growth. And if you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another podcast episode. The conversation starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and as always, I'm so excited to bring you a fresh new episode on something that can help you, inspire you, grow professionally, take new challenges in your roles. And let's just jump into today's topic. I want to talk about being a seasonal application reader for universities. So I am currently in my second year being a application reader for a university, the same university I read for last year. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you will know where I am doing that. But with that being said, I want to talk about it because it's, like I said, my second year. And my first year, it was very nerve-wracking because there was a big learning curve. And I knew going into it, I always wanted to try this exciting challenge. And boy, it was. So my first year reading for the university, I had to read 500 applications in about 45, 50 days. And to be honest, I had a little bit of a late start, not too late, but it adds up. If you're not reading an average minimum of applications a day, it piles up and you need to be consistent every day or dedicating a decent amount of time. And typically in the month of December, I traditionally travel back to Los Angeles, where I'm originally from, spend the holidays with my family, et cetera, et cetera. So last year was my first year. I read 500 applications. This year, I decided to stay back in Dubai and focus on just relaxing, just chilling. And I am now reading 700 applications this year. So 200 more in terms of volume. So I will say that there are a number of things you need to think about if you want to try this. Because I'm off during the month of December, I have 3 weeks off for the holidays. I have time. And, who doesn't want to make a little extra money? And who doesn't want to, utilize their time maybe wisely and grow professionally? I will say that this has been a little bit easier this year because you do refresher courses and trainings, and a lot of it does come back to you, especially after reading 500 applications. The first round, you feel a little nervous, like, did I do a good job, this and that? And then you realize you come back again the next year, you do the training, the recertification, and you're still on point. You're still making pretty good professional judgments. Now, when you go into training like this, you do need to do a non-biased training to help you understand that we all have biases and we all could, potentially look at an applicant with a biased lens. And it's very important that we do these kinds of trainings to help be a little bit more objective in our approach, especially stick to the guidelines and the trainings and everything that they teach you to look for. So it's very important to know that going into it, it is a learning curve. You might feel like what's going on. Every student is so individual, but then, there are the guidelines depending on the curriculum and certain characteristics that the school is looking for. So you need to understand what the school is looking for, and you need to understand, if you're an international reader, that you're working with multiple curriculums and students coming from multiple backgrounds. I mean, the types of applications I've read is students coming from maybe 2 or 3 different curriculums or maybe 2 or 3 different schools just in a 4-year period. And having to identify and read it and rank the student can be tricky. But then you have the support systems in place, people, your team leader and things like that to rely on. But those are not the things that you should be too worried about because, again, you have the support. What I want you to think about is the time. Reading applications takes time due to sheer volume, right? So last year I read 500, this year I'm reading 700. Depending on how fast you read and how confident you are and how intuitive you kind of are with, if you're a bit split or undecided, It can range anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes an application. So if you're not efficient with your time, or if you cannot make time, it's going to be challenging, and it will result in you maybe falling behind in reading the minimum quota per day. Now, I personally like to dedicate 2 to 3 hours a day just so I don't fall behind. And some days I'm not reading because I want to live my life. So I know that I need to plan ahead if I don't want to fall too far behind. Last year, it happened where I was falling behind and it got down to the wire. And I literally had to like give up like 2 of my weekends and give like 8, 10 hours a day so I wouldn't fall behind. Now, that had to do with because I was traveling. So I made a very conscious decision this year to not travel. So I could be home more relaxed in my comfort zone, quiet, not feeling the pressure of having to go do something because I'm on vacation as well. I kind of am going at my own pace and I feel more at peace about that. So the benefit is you can not feel guilty, like that you've traveled to go visit family and that you have to spend time with them. Whereas I'm home, I'm in my comfort zone, and I can do things at my pace. Now, my family understands. It depends on your situation, right? For me, I just spent 6, 7 weeks in the summer with them. So for Christmas, I wanted to just kind of relax, enjoy the beautiful weather here in Dubai, read, do my hobbies, do my activities, see my friends, and make some money. So you need to think about how much time are you willing to dedicate? Are you able to travel? Are you able to keep up with the volume? And are you able to, you know, take on this new role and responsibility and be able to develop professionally? So if your team leader is feeling like you're not doing it right, or if you are unsure, you feel like you're making mistakes, you need to be open to feedback. And so it's good to check in with people, make sure that you are doing things correctly, because sometimes you can go a little cross-eyed. So um, everyone starts to kind of sound, you know, like, am I just ranking too harshly? Am I ranking too easily? You start to feel a little bit like discombobulated. So it's good to get some feedback and check in. Another thing that is important for you to think about as a reader is you need to have strong decision making skills. So, yes, you have the training, yes, you have the support from your team leader, but you play a crucial role in selecting candidates who will contribute to a university community that you may have never visited yourself. So it's very important that you understand the institutional need and the responsibility that is required of you to be able to see if the student is aligned with the values and the goals. And it is your responsibility to make that decision. That's a big decision. It's not easy. It's not easy because, like I said, that little bias of ours likes to sneak in and our emotions like to sneak in, but we got to stay very objective in the process. So it's not easy. You can't accept everybody, even though we might want to, but ultimately, you are a decision maker. And lastly, it's important to know that you are making an impact by evaluating and contributing to shaping the future of the student experience on a campus and of the university ultimately. So, this can be very rewarding, and being a part of the process is kind of cool and exciting. And you kind of helping people achieve their academic and career goals in a direct slash indirect way. That student may never meet you. You may never meet them. By the way, you're not allowed to read students that you know. Disclaimer, you're not allowed to rate them, at least for the school that I am helping, but it would be a conflict of interest. So just know that you may never meet these students, but just kind of seeing maybe their story, their journey, what's important to them, all of that, you are ultimately making a difference in their life. And that can be really rewarding and fulfilling. So, all in all, being a seasonal reader for universities is a workload. It is. So if you are up for the challenge, if you're up for the professional development, you will get the professional development. It's only going to make you a better counselor. It's only going to make you a better advisor for that university as well. And it's also going to help you understand maybe the difference between institutional needs, elite universities versus, non-competitive universities. There are people who literally jump around from university to university because they want to get different experiences reading from different types of institutions. Um, so yeah, it's quite a cool experience, and I highly recommend it. If this is something that sounds like you can do and make time for, 100% try it out. You might be asking, how do I do this? Where do I apply? You need to network. So think about a university that you would like to read for, or you are interested in reading for. And if you don't even know, that's okay. But the UCs, all of the UCs, they're always looking for international readers. Most institutions in the US are looking for international readers or outside readers, they call it sometimes. And you just need to network and reach out to the admissions office and just ask, what the application process is like for you to apply as a reader, and kind of get on their list, network with them at conferences or networking events, or like I said, simply just email them and introduce yourself and just express interest. That's kind of what happened with me and my opportunities networking. So I definitely encourage it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk more about it. If there was something I didn't talk about or you're curious about, please reach out to me. I'll leave all my contact details below. And I hope that this episode has inspired you to keep growing, learning, and becoming an amazing counselor and professional in the educational world. And like I always say, I will catch you all on the next episode. Did you love the episode? I hope you're feeling inspired and no longer feeling alone out there, and you're ready to evolve and become a better person. Make sure that you share this podcast or take a screenshot and post it on your social media. That's how you help spread this podcast organically, and people can find it much easier when you share, or share it with a loved one. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and make it your mission to be a blessing in someone else's life today.